In an interrogation room, a group of agents starts their 70-second session with Dr. Annika. After checking her vitals, they ask her what she saw and how she's still alive. Annika then starts sharing her story. During her childhood, Annika loves spending time with her sister Clara. When they catch a firefly in a jar, they decide to let it go so it can breathe. Suddenly, Clara drops the jar and collapses, so Annika screams for their mother. Clara is immediately sent to the hospital, and Annika has to watch her die while holding her hand. Years later, Annika attends a talk by billionaire Sam, who is certain that there's other life in the universe. Sam doesn't think of himself as a visionary. He calls himself an observer. He points out that he made his first billion from solar energy, but he didn't invent the sun. However, he does think that Annika is a visionary and makes her raise her hand, as he explains to the crowd that she was the first person to photograph dark matter. After the event, Sam approaches Annika and says he's a big fan. He also confesses he didn't attend the event to give a talk. He came to offer her a job. They go to a bar and discuss her work, so she explains how she overlapped 233 data sets to find order in the chaos. When Sam asks why she did this, she answers that she wants to know what's out there. Sam offers her a 1-year contract to work for a small lab on a remote island in the Caribbean, but refuses to elaborate because it's confidential. His vague wording makes her guess that he's hunting aliens, but Sam says he's actually gathering them, which convinces her to take the job. Sometime later, Annika is taken to the island by boat and meets Charlie, an electronics engineer. He's the director of Gateway Labs and was hired by Sam to check on the technology he's installed on the island. When they arrive, they learn that the staff is only around 10 people because they're keeping things small. Annika explores the facility and admires a curious statue before entering the building on the upper floor. She finds Dr. Perry, who is being injected with an immuno-booster by a doctor. Annika introduces herself and offers her hand to shake, but Perry ignores it and acts hostile. He thinks Annika was sent by Sam to spy on him and be the bruise that finally kills him. Soon, Charlie joins them and tries to introduce himself too, but he's also met with rudeness as Perry shows them around the place. He reminds them that all their communications are monitored, which was part of the non-disclosure agreement they signed in the lab. Charlie is impressed by the various devices, and Perry tells him not to touch anything. Then he starts talking about evolution and how apex predators are prone to self-destruction. Now humanity is looking for another world full of resources. But since aliens are out there, they have technologically advanced competition. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence has searched for radio waves, but that only covers 110000000 of the sky and uses outdated technology. Perry believes aliens wouldn't use radio to communicate. Instead, he has an FTL communicator. It takes 2 photons and pairs them. One is kept on Earth, and the other is sent light years away. They'll communicate with each other across the galaxy. Charlie points out that this breaks the laws of physics, but Perry explains it only bends the laws humans know. Annika also insists it's impossible. Yet Perry swears that's what his machine does, and he built it 6 years ago in his basement. He asks them to perfect it and leaves. Annika and Charlie stare at the chaotic data from the machine. Annika realizes they need to find order in chaos, which is what her own project did. She applies her algorithm to the machine, and little by little, the data is organized until they confirm they have a real signal sent by aliens. The duo rushes outside to talk to Perry, who already knew they had a signal and only needed Annika's math to confirm it. The curious statue Annika saw earlier is actually another machine that Perry calls Little Myth. Unfortunately, it hasn't managed to replicate the quantum signatures, so it can't talk to the aliens yet. Charlie has done this replication in his lab in the past, which means that just like Annika, he's been brought to use his own experiment in this machine. Later, Perry checks on his daughter Lucy, who is playing with some ants on a tree. He tells her how humans studied ants to solve traffic problems and asks about her schooling, but the girl barely talks. Perry leaves without another word. In the lab, Annika double-checks that the signal is real and starts thinking about Clara. While they were camping, they thought they heard monsters. Clara didn't believe in them and wanted to leave the tent, but Annika stopped her because she didn't want to lose her. In the evening, Charlie wants to turn on the transmitter, but Annika thinks it isn't safe to do so yet. She wonders what aliens are capable of. So Charlie shares a story. He worked on a bionic eye that could send microelectrodes from the eye to the brain, which helped blind people see through the years. It's received so many updates that the 5th version will offer better vision than a healthy human eye. Charlie believes that humanity will improve each body part one by one until they find a way to just put their minds in a durable container, like a chip. That's what he calls the endgame for Homo sapiens. However, Annika doesn't like it and points out that painful experiences make people who they are, so they shouldn't get rid of them. She also knows that some of Charlie's patients end up taking the bionic eye off, which proves that people can be proud of their flaws in the present. The agents point out that Anakin knew Perry was a threat, so they wonder why she stayed. Annika explains she wanted to help, because it wasn't a good idea to leave first contact with aliens to a crazy man. Her story continues, showing Perry checking on Lucy again. He only looks at test results and doesn't even talk to her before leaving. Later, Annika talks to the staff doctor who hasn't left the island in 3 years, and it's taking a toll on her. She explains that Perry lost his wife and son 4 years ago in a house fire and never accepted what happened. He was in a lab in an outbuilding, self-medicating and probably drunk, and only learned about the fire when the cops woke him up. Lucy survived because she was at a sleepover. The doctor says that Perry knows humans matter in theory, but not in practice. During dinner, Sam does a magic trick for Lucy. This engages Perry, who sends her to bed. Then Charlie and Annika report to Sam, telling him that they've confirmed the signal is real. They want to inform the world, but Sam doesn't want bureaucrats to get in the way. An argument ensues, and Sam reminds them that they can't even talk to the aliens yet. So Annika asks for 1 week to finish the project while they chat. Perry keeps interrupting to comment on their meal and mentions unnatural dynamics among animals on farms. He says that an animal that prefers solitude will feel threatened by visitors and eventually attack. Suddenly, Perry snaps, slamming the table as he tells the group that he won't wait anymore. He wants Charlie and Annika to fix his project now, or he's done. After Perry leaves the table, Sam explains, he always behaves like this and they're keeping him together with medication. The other reason why he's brought Annika and Charlie to the island is that they'll replace Perry the moment he becomes non-functional. Afterward, Charlie and Annika drink while admiring the view, and Annika admits she's worried that the aliens may be hostile. Charlie thinks the universe is full of resources and technology, so there's nothing the aliens may want from Earth. Annika points out that life is fragile, and fear is the only thing keeping them safe. After everyone goes to bed, Charlie sneaks into the lab and finishes fixing Little Myth so it can send talk back. He immediately tells Perry, who starts programming the message. When Perry calls Annika to oversee the data, she protests against the idea, but she's ignored. Perry has chosen the most repeated sequence from the alien signal and will send it back, even though he doesn't know what it means. He'll use the speed of light as a unit of measurement and repeat the code 10 times in different intervals. That way, the aliens can tell humans are logical beings. While Unwick keeps arguing with him, she texts Sam to ask him to stop this. However, Sam only says he wishes he was there. Perry guesses what she's doing and explains that even if Sam wanted to stop him, he can't because there's no kill switch. Charlie supports Perry and says they should choose a powerful quote to send, but Perry expects no response, so it doesn't matter. Annika doesn't understand why he built this. if it doesn't matter, and Perry says it's precisely to prove it. After some preparation, the machine glows and the message goes out. The group waits for a few minutes, but sadly, nothing happens. Annika calls Sam to update him and announces she's leaving, but the call ends when the phone loses service. Suddenly, the lab loses power and the backup generator kicks in, but Annika is now locked in her room at the same time. Sam watches the city lose its lights. Charlie notices problems in the system and desperately tells Perry to shut it down. So Perry does so, after some hesitation. Afterward, Charlie uses his tablet to hack into the lock and open Annika's room together with the doctor. They watch the news and learn that the whole world lost power for a few minutes, which caused several disasters and deaths. NASA admits that they're at a loss, and that this extends beyond Earth's atmosphere. Some reporters start to wonder if aliens were involved. Annika notices that the power came back after 8 minutes and 19 seconds, which is the exact amount of time that it takes sunlight to get to Earth. She thinks this means the aliens talked back in a way humans understand, since the sun is so important to them. Once Charlie agrees with her conclusion, Annika decides she must kill Littleman. The doctor agrees, saying they can't count on Perry's humanity. Charlie thinks the aliens have good intentions, but Annika insists they can't know that, so another argument ensues. Meanwhile, Perry is watching the cameras and notices Lucy running outside, so he presses a button in the machine. By the time Annika tries to shut off Littleman, she discovers that Perry already did so. Outside, all bugs are dropping dead around Littleman, forming a perfect circle. Lucy is playing with a kite, which is suddenly pulled towards the machine. She screams in pain as the string tangled on her hand begins dragging her on the ground, making her bleed. Perry rushes to his daughter's side and untangles the string so the kite flies away, while Lucy hugs her dad. The adults notice a strange anomaly in the sky in the city. The National Security Agency, or NSA, visits Sam to ask him why his operations never lost power. They have footage of the sky anomaly, but they can't study it because their satellites are still down. The anomaly seems to be growing. In 2 days, it'll be seen from the mainland, and in a week, the whole world will panic. Yet Sam tells the agents that the only thing on the island is a solar observatory. When he tries to leave, the agents say he needs a military escort. But Sam points out they can't do anything if they don't have charges on the island. The terrified staff pack their things and leave. Charlie notices the circle of bugs and tries to come closer to the machine, but Annika pushes him back and scolds him. Then Charlie shows her the test results, which show that little moth is surrounded by a column of air in a vacuum. Annika points out that speech is just air with meaning, so maybe this air column is data. The duo then collects some wood to start a fire next to Little Meth, and the vacuum immediately absorbs the smoke, which forms shapes around the machine. In the present, Annika says that the aliens think in thoughts and visions, so the agents want to know why they won't speak plainly. Annika thinks that advanced beings have better ways of communicating than English. Her story continues, showing Perry kicking the doctor out of Lucy's room and ignoring her concerns. Then he starts reading Peter Pan to his daughter. While the army gets ready to invade the island, the world declares a state of emergency, which includes curfews and emergency powers. People are rioting on the streets, so some governments are choosing martial law. When Sam finally arrives on the island, he asks the team for an answer that they can give to the military. Charlie theorizes that the repeated sequence is a distress signal, and the aliens are trying to protect humans from harm. Annika watches the riots and people getting stuck on the subway, which reminds her of the firefly in the jar that needed to breathe. She rushes outside to watch the air column and concludes that the blackout was a scan of the world. Now, the aliens know that air is important to humanity, and they're using it to communicate, which means they could talk back. The air column is an invitation. However, Whoever steps into it will suffocate. Charlie volunteers to do it, but at that moment, they're surrounded by the army and get arrested. While soldiers guard little Charlie, and Annika insists they can fix this if they talk to the aliens. However, an NSA agent explains that governments all over the world are getting their weapons ready, so there's no way to fix this now. The group must stay in their rooms until they find a place to send them to. Afterward, Annika and Charlie discuss the situation using the intercoms. Annika is too scared, so Charlie reminds her that she can't let fear decide and that she became a scientist to help people. This makes her think of Clara's death, causing her to cry. She couldn't help Clara, but she can do something now. Annika then lies to the NSA agent, saying that Perry is still running a signal which is making the anomaly grow. He falls for it and wants to send a soldier to shut it down, but Annika tells him only a scientist can understand the controls. The agent agrees to give her 5 minutes with Little Myth. In a tent outside, Annika uses a laptop and pretends to access the device. Then Charlie starts pounding on his glass doors and yells to distract the guards. Annika uses the chance to run toward Little Myth and enters the air column, only to be shot by a soldier and collapse. After a few seconds of darkness, Annika wakes up feeling perfectly fine and doesn't see anyone outside the air column. She begins thinking about questions and breathes, so the aliens confirm that they're inside her head by making her see a vision of Clara using the girl's voice. The aliens explain they aren't biological or machines. They're physics itself. They don't create or destroy. They learn and reorganize. Charlie's theory was right. The message was a distress signal. So these aliens came to Earth to protect humanity from other threats in the universe. Since Earth has revealed itself, it's now in danger. Other alien races are predators, but this one only protects. As Annika sees various visions of the universe, the aliens tell her that one day humanity can evolve this way, too. Outside the air column, the agent stops the soldiers from stepping in. The Clara illusion gives Annika the jar, and she opens it to release dozens of fireflies. As she finally lets go of her grief, she wakes up in the real world. Suddenly, the mysterious cloud starts growing at terrifying speed and covers the entire planet. In the present, Annika says that humans are now safe from the universe, but not from themselves. When the agents ask if the aliens will return, she answers that they never left. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.